All right, everyone. Hello, and welcome back. Today, we will be talking about the Alabama ballot measure that is on the table. And there's only one ballot measure. There's nothing really much to talk about when it comes to this ballot measure. But all we have is this ballot measure. It's basically asking voters to either modify local bill requirements. And what that is, we got take a little look on that because let's see. Let's go to Ballotpedia. This is going to be an interesting video because New York Times does not have a map of the results. They didn't really want to do that. So we're going to go ahead and take a look. On the ballot. Yes, this is the one, Amendment 1. So it says here, Alabama Amendment 1, the exempt local bills from Budget Isolation Resolution Amendment, was on the ballot in Alabama as a legislatively referred constitutional amendment on March 5th, 2024. The ballot measure was defeated. A yes vote supported exempting local laws or local constitutional amendments from the budget isolation resolution process, which requires that the legislature must pass education and general fund budgets prior to enacting any other legislation, unless the legislation receives a 60% majority of the vote. So, summarizing that, voting yes basically exempts the local laws or a local constitutional amendment from a budget isolation resolution process. So apparently, what caught my attention was the end that must pass education general fund prior to enacting any other legislation, unless if the legislation reaches a 60% majority. So if they have some sort of majority, an overwhelming majority, they can say they get to have some sort of say, but otherwise they don't really get to have a say, the legislature, when it comes to passing education and general fund budgets. So it's a very complicated thing to understand. There's something you got to be explained about, but regardless, this was defeated in a close election. No won this election with 51.33% of the popular vote. It's not really my favorite, honestly. It's not really a controversial. It is kind of controversial, but this is pretty bipartisan. This is kind of split off on a sort of opinions. Let's kind of see who's endorsing. Opposition. No one really opposed it. Supporters of this amendment was State Senator Clyde Chambliss, and he is a Republican. Arguments made for support is the bill sponsor and State Senator Clyde Chambliss just said that, quote, that definitely is what we call inside baseball, and most folks won't necessarily understand that. It just removes one of those, in my opinion, unnecessary hurdles that has really had no effect on legislation. Sonia Brassfield, an executive director of the Association of County Commissions of Alabama, also argued. I think that's important for everybody to understand. The BIR vote is not the vote that passes the bill. It's not the vote that makes the bill become law. It's a crafted some might say unnecessary procedural step for a local bill, and clearly the legislature overwhelmingly agreed with that. The average citizen has no idea what the letters BIR stand for, and no one does unless you work for your career in this process. I think one of the challenges you always have on constitutional amendments is educating people. We'll start that with we'll start that with our convention next month as we get our folks a little better educated on this as well. Even for some of our members, it's a little too much inside baseball right now. So, yes, the term inside baseball is going to be probably used a lot when it comes to this uh, uh, ballot measure. And when it comes to opponents, no opponents or no arguments were made with, and somehow people, I guess, don't show up to vote for this amendment, and only 51%, overwhelmingly 539,000 people have voted against this ballot measure to be passed. So regardless, this is what would put into result a no vote opposed exempting local laws or local constitutional amendments from the budget isolation resolution process. So I don't know. I honestly don't know what I would have voted. This is not my favorite ballot measure. It's complicated. It truly is. Having to do with the administration of government. But regardless, this is a win for more of, I don't know, I would say, um, it's, you would definitely need to get a run through when it comes to the background. Some background on this was the Alabama Amendment 1 from 1984, the Budget Isolation Amendment, local amendments of the Alabama Constitution back in 2016. Here's our pathway. So yeah, and there's nothing. I wish I could see how the counties voted. I mean, it's really interesting, but apparently, unless I go to Wikipedia, Wikicommons, and kind of Wikicommon this up, I don't really know how these counties voted. So let's see. 2024 Alabama. We're just gonna put down 2024 Alabama. All right. This is the Democratic primary. This is the Republican primary. All right. So it looks like we don't really have a ballot measure. Let's just say, yeah, it could go by initiative. It could go by amendment. Amendment. Yeah, it's pretty bad. So, what are your guys' thoughts? Let me know down in the comments. Would you support this bill? Or would you support this measure in this case? Anyway, I want to thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next political episode.